Comedy is supposed to bring people together in, especially stand-up, in one location, in one arena or room or wherever, and have everybody just laugh. Just laugh. But this comparison to Adolf Hitler, Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. To compare a man that killed 6 million Jewish people to Donald Trump, who last I checked hadn't killed one and doesn't want to. If anything, he wants to end war. That comparison is dangerous. I just feel like comedy is a great tool for unity. I feel like we're misusing it. I feel like it's been put under the spotlight and it's being used as, how dare you, and pointing fingers at each side.
Find the colors, find the light. In the gray, we'll find our sight. Brutal banner, fierce word. Shadow streets unheard.
Welcome to Stay in the Gray podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm here to bring you raw conversations about life and those undeniable human truths. We dive into the chaos, one issue at a time, blending comedy, controversy, and the unexplainable. Get ready for transparent ideas straight from the gray areas where most answers are hiding. So stay curious, stay inquisitive, please stay laughing, stay in the gray. Come check it out. We'll see you there. Okay, here we are. It's been a while. I'm so excited to be back with you. Season 5 is upon us. Today, February 27th, 2025, almost March. I was going to wait till March the 3rd. Every season, it's been 33 episodes, so I was going to keep that 3 pattern and do March the 3rd. Couldn't wait. Ready to roll. Lots of small changes. I'm sure you might see one of them behind me. Very excited to keep going. Very excited and proud of what we've done so far on the show. Everybody that's contributed to the show, from guests to Trey early on in the seasons, and our producers and all of that. So excited to keep moving forward here as we go into season 5. Some good things coming, lots of good guests, and the direction of the show. I'm trying to make it fun. I'm trying to make it, to still have a focus on what's important in the world, to not forget those things, because we can't. To keep an eye on things as we move forward in the United States. Things are crazy. They have been for a while. There are lots of things happening, and some people are very, very excited, and some people are claiming not to be. I don't see how they can, but they do. So we'll talk about some of those things. My mindset hasn't changed at all. I want to hear anybody and everybody. Let's talk about anything. I want to hear all perspectives. I want to try and get those different perspectives from all sorts of people, and I'm hoping to do that with some great guests this season. And I thought that tonight would be a good opportunity to open the season by myself. I'm gonna have some guests on right away on the next show, and it's gonna be a fun show. And but tonight I wanted to talk about something. I'm gonna piggyback on one of the last episodes I did of season 4, and it was about cancel culture. And so what I want to talk about is comedy and laughing. If you've listened to this show, you've heard me say before, I just want to laugh again. I just want people to laugh. I don't like the fact that we can't laugh, or that we couldn't, without a fear of being, quote, canceled, or someone's going to be offended, or people are going to look down at you because how dare you. Trey and I used to have issues all the time. We would just talk about weird deaths, or not that they weren't tragic, but the way that people died could be funny, and people didn't like that. We also talked about Halloween costumes that were inappropriate to some. We didn't feel that way. We were able to laugh at some of them. Some of them we did, but that's the point. Everybody has a line. Nobody has the right to dictate what that line is. And so let's talk about comedy tonight. The quasi title of the show is Divided We Laugh, Comedy as a Bridge to a Polarized World. And yes, there's a lot in that title, but the world is polarized, specifically the United States, which is what I care about the most. I care about all of you around the world, But when it comes to immediate, direct effects that I want to take place, it's this country. It's the people that are closest to me, my family, and the country's policies are going to affect those people. Unfortunately, for the people in France or Australia or Bangladesh or Argentina or wherever in the world, guess what? Our policies don't affect my friends and family and my neighbors over there. They don't, it doesn't affect that. So when I talk about being U.S. first, that's what I mean, is that it hits home to me. It hits home to what my priorities are. And that's what it boils down to. That was a long-winded way of saying everybody has priorities. And right now, I'm focused on what mine are and what other Americans are. So one of the reasons I could never, ever align with the left, and again, people know this, if you're new to the show, I'll tell you, it's because of this idea of wokeism, of cancel culture, of being offended by everything. It's too much. We've crossed the line with it. Who are you to tell me how to speak? Who are you to tell me that you're offended by something when I could be offended by something that you've done, or just offended that you're offended? I mean, it gets silly. If you don't like what I say, either go away or you can tell me you don't like it. But to sit here and try and generalize and lump a group of people together or eliminate them like cancel culture tries to do or tried to do, it's bullshit. And so that's why I'm so focused on this. And that's why I thought I would lead in tonight. If you listen and you are like-minded to me, this is the show for you. If you listen and you kind of go, I see a little bit, but man, I wish he would tone it down just a smidge. Then let's talk. Let's listen. Keep coming back, and let's work together and listen to each other. I welcome open-ended conversation. I welcome comments. I welcome anything short of texting me on my personal cell phone. Let's talk. That's all that I ever have said I wanted to do. So the political correctness, the woke culture, the woke ideologies have made it very difficult for people to laugh. Comedians, obviously, it's affected the most. They're afraid to say anything. I mean, my one comedian was talking about, I forget what his name was. He was talking about how every show he was heckled at certain jokes, just he never knew which ones were going to be offensive on any given night. And comedy is supposed to make us calm the fuck down. Comedy is supposed to bring people together in, especially stand-up, in one location, in one arena or room or wherever, and have everybody just laugh. Just laugh. If I was picked out by by a comedian and he kind of roasted me there, I laugh. Just do it. I think my old co-host Trey was roasted at a comedy show, and he asked me on the show. Actually, I forget what episode, a long time ago, whether he thought it was appropriate or whether he thought he should be upset. It was really funny. And no, I said, you did the right thing by laughing it off because it's a comedy show. And so I just don't think that we should be on eggshells. I don't think that I'm not going to sit here and be afraid to laugh at something because of fear that, I don't know. How does this person lean politically? How does this person feel? Are they offended by certain jokes? Are they this? Are they that? Are they this? It's too much. You can't just do that for everybody around you in a world of billions of people. It's the opposite that needs to happen, which is everybody goes, you know what? I'm not going to let myself get offended by this unless he knows straight up that this is really going to hurt me. And then you let him know. You still can't tell a person not to do something or say something. To say something, do something, and you get a little bit different reactions. So sit back. Let's talk a little bit here and laugh, hopefully. And I like to say it's defying the oppressive rules of being politically correct. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk a lot about memes because I think that's, excuse me, I do have a small cough, so I'm going to try not to cough. Stupid young children give it to my kids, and it comes home from school. So, but let's talk about the most basic of memes, okay? And you'll see it. I'm going to put it here. And the first one is one known as "This is fine." And what it is it's a meme of a dog sitting at a table and flames are all around it. The house that it's sitting at is on fire. Yet the dog remains optimistic and has a smile on his face. And it's just an example of how life is inherently chaotic, how life is, it's almost hilariously unpredictable. And anybody can look at a meme like this and say, man, this is true. You can be on complete opposite sides of the political divide, complete opposite sides of any issue, and that meme can apply to your life. It just does. Everything's chaotic around you. And because of that, you just got to smile and live day to day. That's really what it's all about. And unfortunately, there aren't many of these. People take it one way or the other, and we go. So before we get to other examples of these memes, I want to give you, I looked this up. This isn't just my assessment. It matched a lot of what I think and a lot of experiences that I've had, but I looked it up on multiple sources. I looked it up. I asked fucking Grok or ChatGPT, even the AI. I asked for its opinion. I researched on 3 different platforms because I was just curious on whether the assumptions, if you will, or the stereotypical assumptions made by both conservatives and liberals, in my mind, were accurate. And boy, I tell you what, here are the main ones from each, and I can't argue with them. Well, I'll start with the conservative side, which anybody knows I voted for Donald Trump. I tend to vote politically conservative because, again, I can't align with the left right now. I do on certain social issues. There's a lot of gray areas in those issues, but I'm not a straight right ticket. I'm not going to look at all these list of quote-unquote conservative viewpoints and just place myself there. I'm willing to talk, and I want to learn and go case by case. But so on our side, I say on the conservative side, cancel culture. Hello, that was number 1. And I've been talking about that not only in the second to last episode of season 4 and today, but for a long time. That's one. Cultural Marxism was another one. It's another way of saying that we believe that the conservatives believe that liberals these days are undermining traditional U.S. values, whether it's religion with Christianity, whether it's the home life with full families with 2 parents. Some will say that, a mother and a father is part of that element or part of that equation. I apologize. And others will say that part doesn't matter. I agree with that part doesn't matter, by the way. So the last one is, and I say this too all the time, there's a victim mindset, and that is caused by identity politics that was introduced not long ago. And it's this notion, it's this pointing fingers at everybody else. And I'm repeating myself. I know I've said this before in the past, but hopefully we've got some new people coming on, and I'm glad to have you. And this is a big one for me. I do not like people that play the victim card, point fingers at everybody else, and blame them without any responsibility taken. I don't like it. I think it's more divisive than anything right now. You're isolating yourselves from everybody else and saying, I don't have to do shit because you did this, because you did this. And oftentimes it's nothing that was directly correlated to your life. It's 250 years ago. If it has any correlation to your life, it's like 1%, if that. It's time to move on. It's time to get responsibility. And it's time to take advantage of opportunities that are laid out right now, which there are, but that's a different show. So those are the conservative side. And that's why I kind of tend to lean that way right now, because I agree with 2 of those 3 big time. The traditional values thing, that's debatable because I think there's nothing wrong with adapting here and changing here. And yes, I feel like there needs to be more focus on the family life. And, you know, Christianity's been under attack by the left. A lot of atheists now, and a lot of people who have come into the country who are Muslim or the Jewish communities. And when you mix all that together, a lot of times the base religion, if you will, the base belief system gets lost in the shuffle. And I think that's what's happened a little bit with some of those U.S. values that I was referring to. Let's go to the left. So the liberal accusations of the conservatives. And this is where it gets me. This is a whole lot different. This is a whole lot more intense. And a lot of it's completely false. The things I just told you about the conservatives and their viewpoint of liberals, do you think I was wrong in any of that? Do you think all my sources put together were wrong? Do you think it's embellished? That's the question. Listen to this. This is what fires me up. I've been called all this stuff. Liberal accuses conservatives of being racist, xenophobic, and sexist. I'm tired of this. It's horseshit. If there are a few people, there's a low percentage amount of people in there that are those things, who cares? There are always going to be assholes in this world. And I guarantee you there are some of them on the liberal side as well. So I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of it. There's nothing to base this on. They try by saying, by our immigration stances. You mean not wanting illegal immigrants in this country. You mean wanting illegal immigrants who have done further crimes, mostly physical crimes like assault and rape and murder, to be deported the fuck out of here. You mean those immigration policies? I want legal immigration as much as anybody on any side. I think it's one of the great things about this country. I've known quite a few people that have come here the right way who are from a different country. I know people right now who are trying to wait the time to get in, to get their visa, to come to a university program. Those people are people I admire because they see the value of being here in the United States, and they see that this place, contrary to what some people say these days, is still the land of prosperity and the land of opportunity. And it's getting back to that direction, or it's headed back in that direction. And I think people see that. So don't come at me and say it's racist to not want illegal immigrants flooding across the border. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. How about white supremacy groups? Really? Did you know the KKK was founded by Democrats? Okay. That's just the most known one. And the KKK sucks, for lack of a better word. I mean, there is nobody that I know that votes Republican or that votes conservative that is okay with the KKK. It's just not true. It's silly. And if organizations like the KKK and other white supremacy organizations, people with those beliefs, if they vote Republican, that's not everybody's fault. It's just the way they vote. It's probably religion, it's probably location, it's probably other issues besides this. But you can't lump everybody together. It's dangerous. It's rhetoric, and it's just. I am not a racist person, and I'm being called all these things. It's just, it makes you not want to associate. It makes you not want to align, and it makes me not want to listen, honestly, to those people. And that's what sucks, because all I ever tell you is that I want to listen. So, holding women back? Look at his cabinet. Look at his hires. Two of the most important positions in the Department of Justice. In all of it, the Department of Justice head is Pam Bondi. She's awesome. She's a badass in a crucial position. His press secretary is Caroline Levitt. Is amazing. There are women all over the place that surround this man in a respected work environment. There is no way at all. If you're referring to back in the 80s when he had beauty pageants, when he was a young man, okay. Things were different in the 80s. It wasn't as frowned upon to call somebody sweetheart or to view a beauty pageant as just what it is. He's not trying to hold women down. He's not sexist. If there are some older viewpoints trapped in there, I mean, you wouldn't yell at your grandfather if he said some of this stuff, and you shouldn't yell at Donald either. I don't think there's accuracy to the idea that he's 100% sexist. Just look at his cabinet, look at his hires. All his businesses combined in the world are actually a higher percentage of women than men. Just something to think about. The second one is authoritarianism. And this one gets me too. It's the claim is that they're undermining democratic norms. And what I mean by that is when he questioned the election, which, by the way, Hillary Clinton did the same fucking thing, when he attacks the free press. Nobody is infallible or untouchable. The press definitely isn't, and we've seen that. If they continue to prove over and over that they're untrustworthy and that they give misinformation, that they're biased, and that they have this agenda, they deserve to be called out, and there's nothing wrong with that. That isn't undermining democratic norms. That's just calling a spade and saying this is what it is. He has every right to that opinion, especially after the way he's been treated for the last 8 to 10 years. So get over that. Questioning the election, again, he's allowed to do that as well if he feels that there was an issue. Hillary Clinton did it. It's been done before. That doesn't mean that he's saying that we shouldn't have free elections and the Electoral College. If anything, the left is the one calling for to abandon the Electoral College. And the left, if you want to talk, I've said it before, they put Kamala Harris in the most undemocratic way you can, which is without an election. They just put her in. She didn't receive one vote in any kind of a primary. They could have held one. I know they were panicked for time and all these things, and Joe had just delivered a beautiful performance at the debate. But you got to have something other than that if you're going to start calling people out on democracy. It's beyond me. The other one that really gets me, and it's on par with the white supremacist rhetoric, is this notion of being fascist. Anybody that's calling Trump, his followers, his administration, fascists, need to go look it up because you're not using it correctly. If anything, Trump has localized a lot of the power to the states. That's the opposite of what you're talking about. If anything, the other side, who try to eliminate and silence its political opponent, Donald Trump, those are fascist tactics. Who's using the fascist tactics? Again, listen and learn and think about these things. You don't have to like it. In fact, you're not going to because you've been indoctrinated to hate Donald Trump. But you can't argue these things. And on that note, I'll take it one step further. I'll talk about this more in a minute with the memes. But this comparison to Adolf Hitler, Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. To compare a man that killed 6 million Jewish people to Donald Trump, who last I checked hadn't killed one and doesn't want to. If anything, he wants to end war. That comparison is dangerous. To compare a guy who was completely unstable and only wanted a certain eye color to Donald Trump, who has never insinuated any of that, is dangerous. What happens is people start believing it if they hear it enough. And when it's absolutely not true, you have psycho people who think they need to try and fix it. Just because you don't like the policies, just because you've been indoctrinated to hate Donald Trump, doesn't mean that you need to compare him to an absolute dictator and mass murderer of 6 million people, plus if you want to blame him for the casualties of war. This is dangerous, people. You need to stop it. You can say, I hate Donald Trump. Orange man bad, mean tweets, all that bullshit. But as soon as you start doing this, man, not only have you lost me and everybody else who has a brain, but you're also sending people who are not mentally as sharp after somebody and after people who might have voted for him, innocent people who are just exercising their right to vote. And now they have to watch their backs because they're being compared to Nazis. Stop it. Stop it. It's absurd. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump's son-in-law is a Jew. Doesn't align with Nazi beliefs very much, does it? So much of his crowd, bunch of Jews. So much of his crowd were black, Mexican. I saw a bunch of Muslim people. The black votes doubled for him since 2020. Yeah. They're all stupid though, right? He's racist. He's a Nazi. Why are these people okay with him? It's because they're able to think outside the box. And you should too. So there's the accusations. Let's talk about the memes. The whole point. This was a setup. The whole point. Let's get to these memes. They're fun. And I'm going to show them to you as I talk. There's a couple of videos I want you to check out too. The first one, let's talk about AOC. She's one of my favorites to laugh at. I don't understand why this woman is close to any position of power. I don't get it. It's funny. These memes of her are funny until you start realizing that some of the things she's saying, she means them, and that's scary. So the first meme, the meme of her I have is basically there's a picture here, and it's an article, and of course it had to be debunked because everybody was like, she didn't do this. Well, no shit. It was a parody and satire, and it says AOC, if socialism doesn't work, why are all my socialist friends in DC multimillionaires? And I think that's funny. The left doesn't. They get all clenched. They don't think this stuff is funny. Well, that one's funny. All right, let's try a video. I'm going to play you this video. And I put this out a while ago, middle of last year maybe, when Elon started getting involved. And AOC has called Elon stupid, which makes her the dumbest person I've ever seen. You don't have to like the guy, but to call him stupid or the dumbest billionaire or something. She said something dumb. And to say that, it just wasn't a good look. But there was a video of a parody, of course, that I put out, and I had the only negatives I had. Everybody loved this thing, except for these like far left, these woke. She would know. It was a parody about the AOC and Elon looking at each other, and it was obviously they weren't in the same room, but they made it look like they were facing each other and talking to each other, and it was about this romance that was kind of budding between the two. Hilarious. It was great, and I'm going to play it for you. But boy, these comments I got, she would never give him the time of day. I disagree. I think that Elon probably can do a little better than AOC. But these are the comments. He's an idiot. He can't. Why would she do? Take a joke, laugh at it. I don't think he would date her, and I wasn't upset with the meme. I think it's hilarious. Or the video. I think it's funny. Check it out.
I apologize.
Nobody's perfect.
I'm breaking all the rules.
Well, I guess we might make some mistakes. Who knows?
I think one of the biggest problems we have in DC is that everyone's egos are too big.
I actually just prefer to have no titles at all.
You're opening yourself up.
I'm just being me. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that great? I think that's brilliant. And I think that it's just, again, there's nothing, I just don't get how anybody could be upset at this. It's just such a funny clip. I don't know, maybe it's not. You know what? What the fuck do I know? Maybe it's stupid. But I thought it was pretty funny. So let's go on to the next one. Kamala Harris. People were, I don't know why I set the AOC note down. I'm going to throw it. Kamala Harris, she's easy to do a meme about. There were rumors of her working her way to the top sexually and things like that. likely just rumors, but it was still easy to make memes about. She was drunk. She looked like she was drunk a lot. Same with Nancy Pelosi. My God, that woman drinks all the time. But the biggest thing about Kamala was kind of her answers, her word salads. They were called. She just never could give an answer. It was just like she would just spin and like didn't know how to answer a question. And there are plenty of clips of that. I'm not making that up, but it was easy to make a meme. But what about this meme? So this meme is of Kamala Harris, cartoon version, as you're seeing, and she has the big cackly laugh face. That was one of the things that people said about her, was her laugh was so annoying. And of course, the left would be like, oh, that's not a good, why do you think she's not qualified? Because of her laugh. Well, that's not the only thing, obviously, but that's an annoying thing. And so this meme made fun of it. And it has a big red line through Kamala, who's laughing hysterically in the cartoon version. People, it's kind of funny. If you don't think it's funny, whatever, but it's not that big a deal. People react to this, and this is known as one of the most controversial memes. Really? Come on. Laugh. Or don't even laugh, but just chuckle at it. I mean, come on. Look at that mouth. Anyway, so I'm going to give you another video. I got to get it up over here. This video is great. I'll also put this up before, and before the election, it was just this, why are the borders so open? Donald hit it, JD Vance hit it. That was their biggest platform, it seemed like. Border, border, border. And the left, Joe Biden and then Kamala Harris, were just kind of complacent to explain why this is such an issue and why they hadn't done anything in 4 years. They just kind of sidestepped it and let Donald run with it. And I don't think that was a good idea for them, as we saw. But this is a clip, and of course the rumor the thought was, I don't know if it's much of a rumor, I think it might be some validity to it, was that they were, the illegals were finding a way to vote. And people argue with me all you want, but there are 30-something states that don't require proof of citizenship to vote. That's fact. Go look it up. And this clip, this video clip came out, and I thought it was pretty funny, so check it out.
Did you vote? Are you gonna vote? Oh, will you ask people that you know to vote, please? And will you ask them to vote for me? Thank you.
So there you go. I mean, they didn't like that video. Okay. I mean, if you can't take a joke and understand that there's context behind that, and then an opposition makes that, okay, fine. I just feel like there's no reason to get so offended and so butthurt by everything. I'm just throwing out some memes here. This is fun. The last one on this side is going to be Joe Biden. This is an obvious target. He had the dementia claims by everybody, the accusation that he had dementia. He's old. He falls down a lot. He can't walk. He wanders off at events. And he likes his ice cream. We used to talk a lot about that. I used to have a picture of him eating ice cream before every show that came up. And it made it easy to do memes. And the only one I'm going to put up here for you is this one. And it's him making a funny expression with a clown nose and eating a big ice cream cone. And it just says joke underneath it. Man, I saw comments of this like this was, oh my gosh, how could we possibly say this about our president? Have you guys taken a listen to what people say about Donald Trump? I guarantee you, a clown nose and an ice cream cone is little kid talk, comparatively speaking. And then, of course, you can go on from there with Pelosi and all these others. Okay, they don't like it. They don't like the memes. They don't like the videos. Whatever. And I'm not saying that the conservative side doesn't get upset too. I'm not saying that. If I look at something, I had one of my closest friends the other day send me he likes to fuck with me, so he sent me a Trump and Elon picture of them like hugging on a boat, and they were in like these little tight swimsuits together. And okay, I didn't think it was funny, but I think that it's because I know what the intent is, which is to make me upset. even though it's not upsetting, it's just like, okay, what's funny about that? Okay, because Donald and Elon are buddies and they're going at this together. Like, okay, fine. But I wasn't upset. I wasn't like these people get for these things. So you thought I was only going to do the liberals. I told you I'm going to stay gray here, and I'm going to talk about the other side. How about Donald Trump? Speaking of, he's an easy target too. I'm not going to lie to you. I voted for the man, but guess what? He does. He's orange. he has, I think his hair is badass, but it can look funny at times. His body, he's older and he eats, he doesn't eat the healthiest. And, when you get to be that age, you might have some man boobs. And, but you know what? That man has more energy than I've had in 20 years. So I'm not going to question his lifestyle choices, but it's easy. Okay. So here's a meme that I just have a feeling if something on this level was done, the other side would not like it. You'll say I'm wrong, but check this out. So this is a Cheeto with Donald Trump's head on it. Cheeto has become a term that the left uses to slander Donald Trump, like it's some huge deal. I don't think Donald really cares because he hasn't decreased his tanning bed time at all. He still kind of looks orange, and I'm able to admit that. However, I guarantee that the majority of the people who voted for Donald Trump would look at this and be like, okay, all right, fine, he's funny. He looks like a Cheeto. Big deal. The next one is where I get pissed. This is going too far. I have not seen anything like this until this came out. And I'll be fair. I'll be true. I have seen one that has kind of Kamala with, or that had Kamala with some sort of a fascist type backing, which I believe that is accurate. I don't agree with doing it in a meme, though. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I hate hypocrisy. If I'm sitting here saying you shouldn't do it to Donald, then by God, don't do it to Kamala either. And so I was upset about that on that side too. But this one right here is Donald and Adolf Hitler back to back. And I've already given you my rant about comparing the two. Stop it. It's stupid. A meme like this is dangerous because there are idiots out there who can't take it as a joke. It's not funny. But if you're trying to make it as a joke or some sort of satirical meme, there are people that believe that there is a comparison. And those people are idiots. So stop that too. Let's go next real fast. I got to roll through here. Let's go to Elon. How about Elon? You already saw the video with AOC. Okay, so we'll skip that. But we'll do one for Elon. And this one, everybody is claiming that he is just the worst human being because he doesn't give all his money to people. This is the mindset I don't like on the left. Who are you to tell this guy what to do with his money? He's the richest guy in the world. He can do what he wants. Would you do something different? Maybe. Would you? You don't know. You're not in that position. But this meme right here, it says 43 million Americans live in poverty. Elon Musk just spent $90 million, which I think is actually high compared to what it was, to launch a car into space for fun. I guarantee you it wasn't just for fun. Was it fun? Probably. Was it only for fun? No. He's learning things. He has done more for space programs, for clean energy. You guys want all these clean energy. He's the one that's come up with the highest selling electric car that there is. But all of a sudden he's bad because he associated with Donald Trump and saw the bad in the liberal side. All of a sudden you hate him. I have some friends that have Tesla and that are kind of not big fans of Elon. They didn't turn their Tesla in. They're fine. They get over it. I wish all of you would too. He is not this bad, horrible person you make him out to be. And who are you to judge? That's the problem I have, is you bring up his family and his kids and all this, and he's a terrible father and this and that. It's none of your fucking business. Right now, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, he's cleaning out things. He's doing things. He's working hard. And we'll find out if he's full of shit or not. And we'll find out what if he's not. Are you ever going to be able to admit that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have flushed out a horribly crooked system? Think about it. But I didn't like, this meme. I didn't like it. But am I pissed? No. Okay, funny, fine. has lots of money launching things in space. Okay, fine. Let's do Tucker Carlson. How about that? People hate Tucker Carlson. If you don't know who he is, he was a Fox analyst, became probably one of the best rated nighttime news shows that there was. And then he left Fox for whatever reason. I'm not sure of that story, so don't hold me to whether he was let go or whether he left voluntarily. I think there are stories for both. But he's got this known scowl. And in the meme, you'll see it. And he always looked at his guests with this kind of, almost like he was confused. Well, in this meme, it says, and it's showing the scowl and the confused face, and it says, "Why does Tucker Carlson look like a dog trying to understand a magic trick?" Okay, great. I think that the writer could do better, but I get the idea. This face is hilarious. I'd watch him interviewing people and on the side of the thing, and no matter what they were saying, he just had this kind of like, and he'd sit there and it was still. And I can imagine being the person speaking to him and looking at that and just not being able to talk and focus. Maybe that was what he was trying to do. So there's that. And this, the next one I'm going to give you about Tucker is, again, an example of how the left goes over the line. He went to Russia and interviewed Vladimir Putin. He's I think he's the only American that has gotten an interview with Vladimir Putin. You don't have to like Putin. I don't like Putin. You claim I do just because I have a problem with Zelensky also. I don't like Putin. But Tucker going there to get an interview with one of our enemies, one of the leaders we don't agree with, is a good thing. Him calling out certain leadership qualities or lack thereof here in the United States because of grocery store cleanliness, prices, things like that he was seeing around Russia isn't a negative. And so this meme right here was him with Russian flags and a Russian hat and all these things, and it said, "Comrade Tucker visits daddy," insinuating that he's some sort of pro-Russian. And I heard later on people calling him a Russian spy, and it's just so stupid. To go and get an interview and to have a conversation, people ask, why is Trump pro-Putin? He's not pro-Putin, he's pro-diplomacy. And to keep your enemies closer, if you've heard that saying, is a good thing. To have diplomatic relations with these countries like Russia, like North Korea, it's a good thing. Well, he's shitting on all of our allies. No, he's not. He's just making our allies stand up and pay for their share. That's it. They need to be self-sufficient. And that's what he's trying to do. All right, I'm going to get rolling here. So those are a bunch of memes on both sides, and it's an example of how they can be level, and then they can also be a little bit too much, in my opinion. And I admitted that if certain things were done to Kamala in the same light, I would not be okay with it either. But man, most of them, we got to laugh, people. Let's do it. So again, cancel culture and the debate over humor kind of are intertwined. They coalesce beautifully, if you will. And so I view it as this vigilante woke movement that champions social justice by virtue signaling. And I don't like it. And so who are you to do that? I've said this before a million times. Who are you to do that? What you're doing is you're judging people based on what they laugh at. I'm comparing this, I'm like I said, I'm coalescing it with this topic for this show. Cancel culture and comedy. What's the goal? Okay, I looked this up too, and I did this a couple shows ago when I did cancel culture. The goal with comedy is to protect vulnerable groups, is a key word, from harmful rhetoric. Really? Harmful rhetoric in a comedy show? Vulnerable groups? Come on. Grow a backbone, number one, if you're part of this vulnerable group. Give me a break. You need everybody to jump and defend you? Come on. And don't be a hypocrite. Because guess what? You've said way worse about the opposition, about your opposition. And I don't like that. I don't like hypocrites. So don't sit here and get mad at people for generalizing about a group of people in a comedy act or a meme or a movie Or TV shows. Look what happened to Friends. Come on. Heaven forbid there are 6 white people in New York that are all friends. They're required to interview a black person to be that 7th friend, I guess. I don't get it. Come on. That's a whole other topic. I feel like the whole thing downplays, and this I'll admit to you, you saw me looking at my notes. This whole thing downplays true issues, true racism, true prejudice, issues that need addressed. And you're weeding through all of this bullshit to get to that real stuff. You're diminishing the real problems. That's what I wanted to say. So I'm going to end here, not end quite yet, but I'm going to give you 2 quick questions. Should comedy be fair game? Should there be any restrictions? You can tell me the truth. Perhaps there is a gray area here, and there should be, maybe there is a line. We used to talk about a line in Halloween costumes and things like that. Maybe there's a line. I don't think it should be right in the middle. I think it should be fair game for the most part. The second one is, how about this? Does laughing at these things make that person who's laughing, are you able to tell which side they're on? Are you able to tell, oh, well, they're a right-wing, they're a conservative, they voted for Trump, they're laughing at this? Or is it possible that you can have a crossover? It's just another polarizing topic. And I never thought that comedy would be. And so think about those questions. If you laugh at something and you're on the right side and you don't laugh, that means you're on the left. I don't know. It makes no sense. Excuse me. And so let's talk about Donald real fast. He embraced humor. He embraces it. He said, I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to shy away from it, obviously. And he'll make some jokes. And to me, they're funny because it's usually about the opposition who I can't align with. And that's fair game. If the other side wants to make jokes and they want to go, yay, that was funny about his voters, his supporters, great. But to use his humor as some sort of he's just a horrible, sick person. Come on. Again, he's being funny. He knows how to get under your skin. He does it very well. And that's mostly what he's trying to do. I mean, they freak out at anything he says. Some of his classics, with Hillary during the debate, she said, you're obviously this, and this, and you're not in charge of this. Yeah, because you'd be in jail. Classic. Beautifully said. And then, there was one I saw the other day not the other day, a month or 2 ago, where he's on the golf course after the first debate. So it was a little longer. And somebody was filming him golfing, and he hits a beautiful shot down the middle, and he turns around to the camera and just plays it off and goes, you think Biden could do that? Brilliant. You don't like it because you don't like him if you're on the other side, but brilliant. Come on. If your side said something like that, you'd laugh. Fucking laugh. Let's do it. Laugh. And I just feel like there's a dichotomy. I feel like Trump grew in popularity. People became okay with the laughter, with the sarcasm, they weren't offended. They stopped it. They fought cancel culture. They fought these things. And that combined with the progressives, the liberals, who are unwilling to laugh, who think that everybody's going to be offended by it, has caused things like the meme wars, has caused issues with comedians, has caused even more friction between the two. What's meant to be funny is now being viewed as an insult, and I think that's because of those two factors. Pelosi, AOC, Biden, it critiques their system, their politics over what it's meant to do, and it's being oversensitized, if that's the right way to say it. So, right before we end here, the comedians have called it out, and this is great. So you had Dave Chappelle, you had Andrew Schultz, you had Ricky Gervais. I mean, Gervais was the one that did the just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. I can't agree more with that. Dave Chappelle, he's fought it, and he was kind of pushed out and then back in and pushed out back in. He made some trans comments. He made some this. He stuck with it, though. He didn't give in, and I respect the hell out of that guy for it. Even Jerry Seinfeld came out against it. Bill Burr, Tim Allen, Joe Rogan, of course, Tim Dillon, and so on and so forth. Guess what? Most of these people that I just read off to you were at one point liberal, were at one point Democrats. And forgive me, I've got an old episode on and it's quite loud. Always want to watch some Stay in the Great podcast. But they were all Democrats. And they've seen the light. Especially when you can't perform the way you want to perform. So let's end. This is a long first show. I'm excited. I feel like I could go off on this for don't worry, I won't. For longer. I think that I really want to have this discussion, and I think I have somebody in mind for it pretty soon as a guest. And he and I always talk cancel culture. He was the one I referred to when I said I'd be on the golf course, and he's like, "You need to be quiet." And I was like, "The cart girl, the birds, who's going to hear me out here?" And I think he's ready to come talk, and I think that'll be a great show. Smart guy, definitely challenges me, so look forward to that. But to end, I just feel like comedy is a great tool for unity. I feel like we're misusing it. I feel like it's been put under the spotlight, and it's being used as how dare you, and pointing fingers at each side. And I don't see it happening for a long time. I don't see it uniting us for a long time. I don't know what's going to unite us, honestly. That's a good question. What do you think's going to unite us? Anything? I mean, are you cheering people that are against Trump? Are you cheering for the country to fail just so you can be right about Donald Trump? Trump people, are you willing to open our ears a little bit to the left and see why they're so upset? I can't figure it out. I'm trying. I don't know what's going to unite us. And I don't think it's comedy. And that's sad because that should be something that does. So keep laughing. If it doesn't solve our problems, if it doesn't unite us, at least individually, it just feels good to laugh. I couldn't do this show without saying the phrase, laughter really is the best medicine. I love to laugh. Love it. And there'll be days where I've just had the worst day. But I have a good laugh at the end of the night with some buddies or with my wife or watching a show on TV. And it makes things better. So try it no matter what side you're on, no matter whether you like what I'm saying or not. Just laugh more. I think that's the first step in having comedy and laughter unite us. Here's a joke. It's not very good, but it's a joke nonetheless about cancel culture and the woke. So how about this? I tried to tell a joke about the woke mindset, but my punchline demanded a trigger warning and a safe space. By the time I found those, I had forgotten the joke. Silly, I know. But it's a good example of what I'm talking about. So keep laughing in the face of the woke. You have the right. You have the right to find humor in controversy. I liked that so much that I wrote it down, and then I fucked up the delivery. Oh, well. Come back, have some fun. Season 5 is here. Like and subscribe, follow, spread the word. This is going to be fun. If you want to come on, get right. Let's talk. If you have something to say that's important, if you have something of importance also to add to the show, let me know. The roster's filling up. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great one. We'll see you on episode 2. Love you guys.
Banner, fierce word, shadows creep, streets unheard.